This presentation, entitled The Angelic Salutation, according to St. Thomas, was prepared by Fadi Oro, Sebastian Mahfoud, and Matthew Warner for Father Randy Soto's course in Synoptic Gospels. In St. Thomas's time, the Hail Mary consisted only of the first half of what we say now. He divides the Hail Mary as he knew it into three parts, two of which are given to us in the Scriptures. The last is added by the Church. Here follows St. Thomas's catechesis on the angelic salutation. We must now consider concerning the first part of this prayer, that in ancient times it was no small event when angels appeared to men, and that man should show them reverence was especially praiseworthy. But that an angel should show reverence to man was never heard of until the angel reverently greeted the Blessed Virgin, saying, "Hail." In olden times, an angel would not show reverence to man, but a man would deeply revere an angel. This is because angels are greater than men, and indeed in three ways. First, they are greater than men in dignity. This is because the angel is of a spiritual nature. Secondly, an angel is closer to God. The angel, indeed, is of the family of God, and as it were stands ever by him. Thirdly, the angels far exceed men in the fullness of the splendor of divine grace. For angels participate in the highest degree of the divine light. It was, therefore, not fitting that an angel should show reverence to a man, until it should come to pass that one should be found in human nature who exceeds the angels in these 3 points. And this was the Blessed Virgin Mary. St. Thomas delineates 3 ways in which Our Lady is superior to the angels, and explains the angelic salutation in terms of this threefold superiority. He will discuss the fullness of Our Lady's grace, by which she is made closer to God than any other creature, and more pure by grace than the angel is by nature. St. Thomas describes the dignity of Mary in reverse order than the dignity of the angel, because he considers the angel as he is by nature in relation to Mary as she is by grace. Mary's grace is higher than that of the angels. She is closer to God than the angels. Though she is not higher than the angels by nature, she exceeds them in the purity of her soul. The Blessed Virgin is said to be full of grace in 3 ways. First, as regards her soul, she was full of grace. The grace of God is given for 2 chief purposes, namely, to do good and to avoid evil. The Blessed Virgin, then, received grace in the most perfect degree, because she had avoided every sin more than any other saint after Christ. Mary was full of grace not only in the performance of all good, but also in the avoidance of all evil. Second, the Blessed Virgin was full of grace in the overflowing effect of this grace upon her flesh or body. For while it was a great thing in the saints that the abundance of grace sanctified their souls, yet, moreover, the soul of the Holy Virgin was so filled with grace that from her soul grace poured into her flesh, from which she conceived the Son of God. Thirdly, the plenitude of grace in Mary was such that its effects overflow upon all men. It is a great thing in a saint when he has grace to bring about the salvation of many, but it is exceedingly wonderful when grace is of such abundance as to be sufficient for the salvation of all men in the world, and this is true of Christ and of the Blessed Virgin. The Blessed Virgin excels the angels in her closeness to God. She is closer to God than is an angel because with her are the Lord the Father, the Lord the Son, and the Lord the Holy Ghost, in a word, the Holy Trinity. God the Son was in her womb. The Holy Ghost is in her as in a temple. The Lord is with thee, then, are the most praise-laden words that the angel could have uttered, and hence he so profoundly reverenced the Blessed Virgin, because she is the mother of the Lord and Our Lady.
The Blessed Virgin exceeds the angels in purity. She is not only pure, but she obtains purity for others. She is purity itself, wholly lacking in every guilt of sin, for she never incurred either mortal or venial sin. So too, she was free from the penalties of sin. The first fell upon woman, who conceives in corruption, bears her child with difficulty, and brings it forth in pain. The Blessed Virgin was wholly free from this, since she conceived without corruption, bore her child in comfort, and brought him forth in joy. The second penalty was inflicted upon man, in that he shall earn his bread by the sweat of his brow. The Blessed Virgin was also immune from this because, as the Apostle says, virgins are free from the cares of this world and are occupied wholly with the things of the Lord. The third curse is common both to man and woman, in that both shall one day return to dust. The Blessed Virgin was spared this penalty, for her body was raised up into heaven, and so we believe that after her death she was revived and transported into heaven. The sinner often seeks for something which he does not find, but to the just man it is given to find what he seeks. Thus, Eve sought the fruit of the tree of good and evil, but she did not find in it that which she sought. Everything Eve desired, however, was given to the Blessed Virgin. Eve sought that which the devil falsely promised her, namely, that she and Adam would be as gods. She was not made like God after having eaten of the fruit, but, unlike him, in that by her sin she withdrew from God and was driven out of paradise. The Blessed Virgin, however, found in the fruit of her womb him whereby we are all united to God and are made like to him. Eve looked for pleasure in the fruit of the tree, because it was good to eat, but she did not find this pleasure in it, and on the contrary, she at once discovered that she was naked and was stricken with sorrow. In the fruit of the Blessed Virgin, we find sweetness and salvation. Eve, therefore, looked in vain for that which she sought in the fruit of the tree, just as the sinner is disappointed in his sins. We must seek in the fruit of the womb of the Virgin Mary whatsoever we desire.